Hari Om and welcome to another session of Dharma Kshetra study, Gita study circle. We are doing the 8th chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Let's start with the prayer. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidhaye Vasisthaya Namo Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Yes. So last week we started with the first selected verse, which is 8.5. So some of you weren't here. So probably we can recall a few points with the help of the others who were here. Let us see how that goes. So this was a shloka we did. Akshara Brahma Yoga, by the way, what is the meaning of this Akshara Brahma Yoga? Anyone? Yes. Okay. So this was the verse we did last week. You can chant, one of you can chant. Rahul, you want to, please go ahead.
Sure, Purnmaji. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktya kalevaram yah prayati sa madbhavam yah prayati sa madbhavam yati nastitra samshayah. Yeah.
Those who relinquish the body while remembering me at the moment of death will come to me. There is certainly no doubt about this. Antakalecha mameva smaran. When they're muktva kalevaram, when they're leaving their body. Yah prayasi, those who leave, those who set out on the journey after death, mad-bhāvaṁ yati. They will attain to me alone. Nasti atra samshayah. So there is no doubt about it. So again and again and again, Paramatma is telling us to remember him all the time, everywhere, at all points. So that is what it is. That is when we recall the beautiful Bhajagovinda Stotra, where he goes on saying, Shankara goes on saying, Nahi nahi rakshati dukring karane. The rules of grammar will not help you when you're about to, so that's fine. That's fine for Vyavahara, but what is more fundamental is to remember God. So anyone, Rahul, I'm sure had, and others who weren't here, why don't you share your favorite shloka, Bhajagovinda Stotra, so that we can discuss that and move ahead if you wish.
Sure, Purnmaji. So I think full Bhajagovinda is a favorite, like everybody, for me also.
Yeah.
A couple of favorite shlokas nange definitely punarapi jananam punarapi maranam is a favorite. Ma kuru dhana jana yavana garvam, that is also a favorite. Yavat pavano nivasati dehe tavat pruchhati kushalam gehe adanda. Yavat vittoparjana shaktah tavan nija parivaru raktah. Yeah, some harsh truths. So,
harsh truths.
Yeah.
Correct.
The unfiltered truths from Shankaracharya.
Unfiltered, totally. Very true. So exactly what he is saying here, alva.
Absolutely.
Last moment ali ಜ್ಞಾಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳಪ್ಪ anta. But that last moment will come only when you are doing it the entire life.
Continuously. Yeah. I was reminded of Yuru. I mean, I had heard somebody mention this anecdote. Yuru ISKCON founder Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ಅವರು He used to chant the Hare Krishna mantra some 1 lakh times per day. Atra, when somebody asked him, what is the point? I mean, why do you want to do it so many times? Anta kelda. ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ maybe ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾಣ ಬಿಡುವಾಗ subconsciously I might say ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಆ ನೋವಲ್ಲಿ ನರಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮಸಲ್ ಮೆಮರಿ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಣ ಬಿಡೋ
memory. True.
ಅದೇ
Should
ಅಂತ.
become a muscle memory, cell memory.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Correct. And then, yeah, what else? Any nice points you recall about this? The last week's class? Anyone? Shweta, Suma, Pragati. If you remember something, please pitch in about this shloka that we did. So Akshara Brahma andre samsara is Kshara, Brahman is Akshara.
Perishable, yeah.
Yes, Subha. Carry on.
No, I was just telling Akshara, it's the imperishable thing. Yeah.
So think of the Akshara, don't worry about the Kshara. Kshara is there. You are also Kshara. The so-called body, mind, everything is also Kshara. So don't pay so much attention to it that your focus is shifted. Keep it on the Akshara. Akshara Brahma Yoga. Yoga is a union. Yoga means let us abide in the Akshara and forget about not forget, just let it take the foreground. See, now the Kshara is in the foreground all the time for most of us. So let that go to the background, let the foreground be Akshara. That is what is the tatparya of this particular shloka. And then here another important point that we discussed about this particular shloka was there are two kinds of muktis, sadyo mukti and krama mukti. What is this sadyo mukti? Anyone remember what is sadyo mukti? Sadyo mukti means instant liberation.
Instant. Yeah.
Yes, Pragati. Instant.
No, I was just saying instant.
Correct. So it is liberation when alive. Jivan mukti is called as sadyo mukti. Sadyo mukti is okay. Sadyo mukti is when alive. Jivan mukti, and krama mukti is gradually. Gradually. So we attain to the Lord bit by bit. That is also nice. I mean, it's worse than going to a Netherland or coming back. So this krama mukti is had by people who live a moral, ethical life and studying the Gita and trying to implement all the teachings of the Lord, but not yet completely liberated in this life. And so I am declaring we all will attain to the highest heaven. Whatever your Ishta Devata is there, it could be Vaikuntha or Kailasa or Manidvipa, whoever the Ishta is there, or Goloka. We will all go there and enjoy the presence of the Lord, and the Lord will be our teacher. And then we get the Jnana and Madbhavam Yati. That's what Krishna is saying here. And Nasti Samshayaha, there is no doubt you are going to attain to me. So, if not Sadyo Mukti, we are definitely on the track to Krama Mukti. Right. But the pleasure of Sadyo Mukti is one can enjoy the benefits of, enjoy the glory of being an enlightened person in this life itself with the body and mind intact. I mean, that should be a wonderful thing. Anyway, let us just dwell on the bliss of it and be happy. Okay. So let's go to the next shloka. Yes, Nirmala, Pragati, you wanted to say something? Next.
I just wanted to tell one stanza from Bhaja Govindam.
Yes, please.
That I like.
Yeah.
It is Sura Mandira Taru Moola Nivasa Shaya Bhutalam Ajinam Vasaha Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyagaha Tasya Sukham Na Karoti Viragaha. So which means like people who give up on all the comforts, who don't wear like luxurious good clothes and they're just wearing the deer skin, or sleep on the floor, not on like a mattress or anything,
Mm.
and are constantly visiting temple, they're sitting under the tree.
Mm.
Doing all these does not bring happiness. Showing off that you have given away all the physical comforts
Correct.
does not give you any atma vairagya. So we need atma vairagya and oneness with God,
Yes.
but not just giving up on the physical things. And a lot of times I think this is like a very common misconception that, people say, oh, I'm old, I stopped wearing all the good clothes or good jewelry, I'm only now spending my time in Gita part and whatnot. But ultimately, like, internally they have so many attachments to everything.
True.
So
Correct. Only the external paraphernalia is given up.
right.
So in the very earlier shlokas, Krishna has said, what is sannyasa? Sannyasa, what is sannyasa for a householder and what is sannyasa? He has described just exactly what you said, Prakriti. You don't have to give up the external world at all. It has to be an internal understanding, an internal state of mind. The sannyasa has to be an internal state of mind. Correct. So you can have all the trappings you wish, but yes, it does help to also have a simple and simple life without too many of the trappings. Definitely, I'm sure it will help not to be surrounded by surround yourself always with things that sense objects. But that is fine. That is the secondary. The internal sannyasa is most important. Very nice. So I have one shloka which I love. Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam Vrata Paripalanam Athava Danam Jnana Vihinaha Sarvamatena Muktim na bhajati janmashatena. So Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam. We might go to hundreds of pilgrimages and have dipped many times in the Ganga without understanding the basics of Vedanta or the basics of how to lead life according to the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. Enu upyagalla. Vrata paripalanam athava danam. Even giving charity. Papa, here Shankara is saying even you're giving charity also without understanding, it's a waste. How should one give charity? With great humility. Is what this one should be done with a yagya bhava, as if I'm giving it to God. No, that's the whole point of the Gita, no? Whatever I do, it is with a yagya bhava. Everybody is God. Look at everything and do not approach anything other than as God is the bottom line here. So giving charity also has to be done with so much humility, and the receiver has to be on an elevated platform, and you should be, you should offer it as if you're offering it to God. So unless we do the charity or whatever like that, it has a limited effect. Vrata paripalanam athava danam. Jnana vihinaha, without understanding any of the tattvas which is spoken about by the Lord. Sarvamatena, in a no angle that jnana is there. Muktim na bhajati janma shatena. Hundreds of lifetimes, no mukti. Papa. So this sounds like a very tall order. But yeah, we are getting there, I guess. No problem. So okay, let us go to the next shloka of today. And we can chant, all of us. Okay, this is 8.6 is the next selected shloka. Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajatyante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ. Yes, Rahul.
Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajatyante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Nice. Suma?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very good. Pragati?
Yam yam vapi smaran, sorry, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very nice. Shweta?
Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very nice. Nirmala?
Thank you. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante kalevaram tam tam eva tam evaiti tam evaiti tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very nice. Jai Shri Prasad?
Yam yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very lovely. Indra?
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very nice. Megha? Deepa?
यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः.
Very nice. Padmaja?
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ.
Very good. Anu? Welcome back to class. Okay. Anyone else or we are good? So, yam yam va api smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam iva iti kaunteya sadas tad bhava-bhāvitaḥ. Whatever one remembers upon giving up the body at the time of death, O son of Kunti, one attains that state being always absorbed in such contemplation. What can you say about this? Beautiful shloka.
I think you have said this story, right, Purnima? I think Nirmala ji had said this story about Jada Bharata,
Ade.
who while dying, who was
Yes.
like a
Thinking.
almost realized soul.
Yes.
He will be, and then he dies while dying. He starts taking care of the deer, and then he thinks about the deer's baby while dying, and he becomes a deer again
Okay.
in his next birth.
That is the famous poster boy of this rebirth story. Is yeah, he's a go-to fellow for all these things. Yeah, really scary actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Padmaja.
But they also say that because of his spiritual sadhana from his previous lives, even in the deer's body, he was aware of the mistakes that are committed in his past life.
Very
So
correct.
even deer, he was spending his entire life near the pious ashrams of the saints in the forest.
Correct.
So
Right.
again, when he died, he was granted human birth, but this
Mm.
time he didn't waste his time and completed his sadhana. So
Yes.
eventually he attained God realization and came to be known as the great sage Jada Bharata.
Jada Bharata.
So for
Correct.
the mind to always think of God requires our inner nature to be one with him. So whatever the thoughts that we contemplate continuously manifest as part of our inner nature.
Correct.
So it's always important for us to take care of our thoughts.
Yes.
Therefore, we must practice remembering God at every moment of our life. Only then we will develop the God conscious inner nature.
Yep. And yeah, just when you were saying that, something occurred to me. I wanted to add to that. Yeah.
Tell me your friends, and I will tell you who you are.
Tell me your
What is-
friends and I'll tell you who you are. Correct. What's the company you keep?
Yeah.
That tells more about me than anything else. Correct.
I
And-
need not necessarily depend on, having friends in person. When I am reading Vivekananda,
Yes.
I am his friend.
Yes.
When I am reading Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he is my friend.
Yes.
When I am reading Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is my friend. When I am reading Upanishads, I am reading Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya is my friend.
Yes.
When I am reading Kathopanishad, Yama is my guru, and I am connecting myself with Nachiketa.
Nachiketa.
So whatever you read, whatever you do, everything you're linked.
So
somebody inside you, that Chitraguptan is marking where this needle is going. Going right or left, and how 1% right, 1% left, how it is going, everything is being micro recorded. Beware, you think nobody is watching me, I can do whatever I want. Somebody is watching you. Beware, be careful.
Yeah. And so many of the animals, not many, I think there was a cow and some other animals in Sri Ramana's ashram who were all enlightened. They were all elevated souls like this Jada Bharata, the deer, Jada Bharata in his deer avatar. So those animals also in the Sanidhya of the Sadguru, they attained mukti, apparently. Lakshmi, the name of the cow was Lakshmi. And so she was an enlightened soul. Like
Lakshmi, and there was a crow, there was Jackie the dog.
So nice. So they were all, they had fallen for some reason. Probably enlightened masters who thought of their pet dog or something, and they were born like that. I mean, we can only infer from these things. Yes.
So what happens is, there were many foreigners who came to Ramanashram.
Yeah.
And Ramana Bhagwan was extra sweet to them.
Oh.
Not because they were foreigners. Number one, they were foreigners, and see, coming from an English family or some other country, some other language, their rehan sehan, their way of thinking, their way of food, their way of walking, their way of talking is so different. But still they come to Ramana Maharshi and adopt themselves to that way of thinking. So Bhagavan said, have we not to be a little more kind to them? They are coming so many steps towards me.
Yes.
So the minimum I can do is provide them. Give them more vegetables. Give them more whatever. Give them not hot, not spicy food.
Correct.
Like that.
Correct.
But more than that, it is all previous janma. They are yoga prashta.
Yoga prashta.
They were with Ramana Bhagwan. They were born again. They had some little desire.
Yes.
When they saw some foreigner, and they said, wow. So they were born again as a foreigner.
Right.
So this Lakshmi the cow, there was when Bhagavan was going in the mountains, there used to be a Kira party. The
Huh?
party used Kira party,
Uh-huh.
who used to cook all types of kire for Bhagavan. She was very devoted. From somewhere and all, she'll pick up and make rice and kire and give it for Bhagavan. She passed away.
What is kire?
Kire is palak.
Palak is your spinach.
Greens.
I know what palak.
Papaya sailor man. So when she died, she was born as this Lakshmi the cow.
Oh, eating
So
greens all the time.
that man, some 200 kilometers away, he had only one cow and a calf. And his instructions in the dream was to come and give it away to Ramana Bhagavan. In spite of having only one cow, he came all the way and gave it to Ramana Bhagavan and said, I have got it in my dream that I must give this to you.
So sweet.
So Bhagavan said, I don't have any provisions to maintain this. So, and he said, no, I have got this instructions very strongly, so I will hold on to it. I just give it away. He just gave it away. Then Ramana, the Brahmachari, was the one who said, okay, I will keep it in the Ramana, this thing, not Ramana, in the village, and then I will bring on and off. I will feed and I will take. So that's how. And this Lakshmi the cow, you know what she did? Bhagavan named her Lakshmi. And you know what she did? The second day, she came all the way from that place to Ramana Bhagavan without telling anybody.
How will she tell anyone?
No, that is without anybody's knowledge.
Yeah, fine. So sweet. She wanted to listen to the satsang.
Maybe she wanted to be with Ramana.
She wanted to be
all
with...
the time when she was near Bhagavan, she used to be in a state of samadhi.
Wow. So beautiful, all this, really. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Nirmala. So one more point I wanted to just recall is that most enlightened masters, they know when they are going to leave their body. They have a idea, isn't it? They know that, my time is up, and they even choose the time of death when they want to give up. They are not dying. They are just giving up the body. They are not really dying. Very consciously they die. So there is one account of Swami Vivekananda. It is very, very, very moving. So if with your permission, I would like to read it. You want to? Please. Yeah. And apparently Vivekananda had a premonition when he was dying, and he had commented that he will not live to see his 40th birthday. He had known, and he had made all preparations, and he had even consulted the almanac, Panchanga, to see which is a good muhurta to determine his time and date of birth. And 3 days before he died, he had showed one of his close associates, Premananda. He had taken him to the grounds. He was the head of the Ramakrishna order at that time in Belur Math, and he showed the spot in the grounds. This is where you should cremate me. He had told that his associate, his Guru Bhai, he had told, you should cremate me over here. And then, as we all know, Vivekananda has died a very, his family was extremely poor, they abject poverty. And his mother and his brothers and sisters, they were all ousted by his mama, one Kans mama. And he occupied the ancestral property, and he threw the sister out with her. So she was so poor, and her children she threw. And Vivekananda was fighting a litigation suit against this mama. But 3 days before his death, he closed the case and he paid some compensation or whatever, and he saw to it that it won't be carried on. So all these indicate that he had a very clear idea when he was going to die. So, and how these enlightened people, their mind is always on God or whatever it is. The last day of Vivekananda was extremely significant. That day, I'm just reading from a note. That day in the shrine, he meditated for a very, very long time. And after having closed the doors and windows of the shrine from inside, he meditated. When he came out of the shrine, his eyes were red with emotion. He was humming a song to Ma Kali, a song which was very dear to his guru, Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna. A dear Guru Bhai who had come to the shrine heard him saying, if there had been another Vivekananda, he would have known what this Vivekananda had done. And yet, how many more Vivekanandas will be born in time? He exclaimed. And then his health had been failing for quite some time, but today he felt extremely fit and fine. He had lunch in the common dining room with the other monks, joking and making merry with them. After lunch, he attended to some work like answering his letters, etc. Then he called the monks and took class for them on Sanskrit grammar. It was a tough and boring topic, but the brilliant teacher that he was, he made it extremely interesting and enjoyable. The class continued for a long time, and then he had some refreshments. He went out for a long walk with one of his Guru Bhais. Even now, his mind was preoccupied with the regeneration of his beloved motherland. He talked about the inception of a Veda Vidyalaya. It was near evening when he returned from the walk. The evening prayer was about to start in the monastery. He saw a group of monks having tea, and he had a cup of tea with them. He was retiring in his room when he saw that many of the monks had torn mosquito nets. He turned to a disciple who usually kept Swamiji's meager money and accounts and told him to ensure that each of them get a new mosquito net. Even in his last few hours, he was thinking of others. Now Swamiji retired to his room and he was immersed in intense meditation. He had instructed a brahmachari to be near his room and come in if asked for. After quite some time, Swamiji called the brahmachari, asked him to open the windows and hand him his japamala and fan him a little. Swamiji lay down while counting the beads. After some time, the brahmachari saw that he cried out like a little child who cries for its mother. He exhaled a deep breath and then the head rolled from the pillow. Then everything stopped. So no signs of life. Everybody was in a flurry. And then they found that a bit of blood from the eyes and the nose, which means the scriptures say that when a great yogi leaves the body, his prana pierces through the Brahmarandhra, situated at the top of the head. The piercing sometimes causes blood through the nose and eyes. So this was the account of Swami Vivekananda, who left his body with complete awareness in meditation. So I'm sure in our life, in our families also, we have had incidents of our elders who have had a really premonition of their death and how they calmly just, my grandfather was one such. He was 85, 87. He was an Ayurvedic doctor. And the previous night, and he used to write every day. And at that age also, his writing was absolutely steady and beautiful. And the previous night also, he had made notes about some concoction he was thinking of, Ayurvedic concoction, in his notebook. The next morning, he woke up, he had his coffee, and then he asked his wife, my grandma, to put the chape mattress on the floor. And he quietly laid down on that mattress. Bas, ho gaya, that's it. He just left his body like that. So nice. And there are some who just die in accidents or die in coma. See, that just dying with full hosho, this awareness itself, when you're awake, when you're conscious, it's also a great blessing, isn't it? Yeah, and yes, Nirmala.
It is when you reach that amount of equanimity,
Purity also.
integration,
Purity.
Yeah.
Purity.
Equality, unity, integration of the conscious and subconscious mind
Yes.
completely, that you are able to leave the body in such a beautiful,
Yes.
peaceful way.
Peaceful way. And some people even see their Pitrus coming to take them, or their Ishta Devatas, or the angels.
Their own dear gurus will personally come and take them.
Yes. And that is the promise of the Sadguru. That's what we were discussing in the last class. The japa, the mantra given by the Sadguru is this thing, security blanket. You hold on to the japa, and the Guru will come to fetch you when you're going. That is what you have to hold on to the japa. That's what in this Vivekananda's account we saw. He was chanting probably Ramakrishna's or Kali's thing, and he saw the vision of Ramakrishna or Kali, and that is how we left. That's the most beautiful way to live. Yes. Yeah. Here last week, huh?
Beautiful account of
We should
last day of
yeah.
Vivekananda. Thank you so much, Punya.
Yeah. So it's always fascinating to hear, to read the life and living and death of these masters, really. And and one more thing I wanted to share last week itself. It's about how same thing, no? You think of me while dying. Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram, and this shloka, they're all allied there. They are saying the same things. What is the power of the japa or the God's name or the Guru's name? Is what I wanted to share. A very dear friend of mine, when she was young, okay, she had meningitis. This is a first person account. This girl, she was admitted to Nimhans. In Nimhans, what kind of patients are there? Mental hospital, right? All sorts of trauma cases, suicides, all sorts of psychological problems, and all these kinds of people and emergency cases. They come to Nimhans. And this girl was in a shared room, and she was very, very, very weak because of meningitis. Her whole body had the immunity had gone down so badly, and she was extremely weak and barely think. And so one night, she was when she was asleep or trying to sleep, she felt that somebody had come and somebody was suffocating her, choking her to death. Okay. And she was so weak that she couldn't fight it off. She couldn't fight the force. That happens to us when we are dreaming also, no? So we feel something is happening, but you can't do anything about it because you are neither awake nor asleep, and you're in some half thing. So this girl, she felt she was choking to death. And then the person, her co-patient in the room, that patient was saying, go away, hey, go away, anta. That person was shouting in Kannada, hogu anta. And then this girl, in her agony, because she knew she was dying, then her tata came, her grandfather. So that grandfather was a great sadhaka of Gayatri mantra. He told her, he instructed her, chant the Gayatri. So in her head. So she started chanting the Gayatri. After that, this suffocation and the choking stopped, and she was left alone. And then the next morning, she came to know that when all this, she described this, and she told her the other patient all this happened. The other patient apparently could see ghosts and all that, and she said, yes, one ghost was coming and trying to suffocate you. Apparently there was on the ward above her, on the next floor, there was a murder victim. He was dead. He died that night. Murder victim. He died that night. Obviously, he would have died in a state of complete agony and shock and anger. So that fellow wanted to take revenge on somebody or something, and the first fellow he caught was this girl, because her immunity was so low, and he was able to penetrate and try to choke her. And this Gayatri mantra, even with that weak mind of hers, when she was able to chant the Gayatri, her guru came, that Tata, whom she considered the grandfather as the guru. Then she told me the grandfather always used to tell her beautiful stories, and she grew up on his lap, listening to the satsang. She was basically in his satsang. So he came to her rescue. The mantra came to her rescue. So this, why I am telling all this, what do I think of when I die or when I'm in trouble? She was almost dead, to all practical purposes, because first of all, she was physically sick and mentally weak. All her energies had drained, and she was being choked to death. But her sanskaras came to her rescue, and she started chanting the Gayatri. And the fellow who was murdered, Papa, he was full of anger, he was full of frustration, he was full of rage, and he wanted to come take another life. See, that's what I wanted to convey. The mantra is very important.
Two things I want to tell you, people.
Yes.
Anybody in trouble, remember that if you are a man and if you've been initiated into Gayatri Mantra, fine. If not, you're just any other person or a female, or we don't have the right, they say. If that is so, remember one thing. Just chant Rama Rama. It is most powerful.
Ashte Rama Rama Rama.
Anybody in trouble, please remember, immediately chant Rama 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 Rama. You will be taken care of.
Yes, absolutely.
And just when you're dying, if you're most akamata, without any desire, you are leaving the body will be as simple as the river joining the ocean. It will be that easy. It is the desire which pulls. There are many people who cannot die because, oh my God, there are so many gold bangles which I didn't wear at all. Oh, there are so many saris. Oh no, I'm not yet married. I'm not enjoyed. Oh my God. If all this you have, then you'll go up and come down again. Go up, come down again. You cannot, give up your body so easily. But if you are desireless, easy peasy, Japan easy.
Yes, right. Yeah, all these, thank you. Anyone want some water also? Anything else you want to add, people, or shall we go to the next sloka? Because they are all same things has been, Krishna is saying the same things.
I don't mind listening to Rahul, please.
Bhajagovindam. We haven't had a chance to listen to Rahul's Bhajagovindam. Come on, Paluki.
Sure. Any particular shloka anybody wants to listen to? Yadadro. I am thorough with MS Brakshmi Amma's full rendition.
Please, full rendition. Full.
But class over, only singing.
No, that's okay.
Full,
that's okay.
all of them.
Let us enjoy the singing as well as dwell on the meaning of the shlokas. That is very important. Go for that, because already 7:50. Yes.
I'll ask to hard, but I think the whole thing will take at least 20-25 minutes. So I think any specific ones.
Nan favorite anta adella helbidi.
You choose and sing for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, Papa. Okay, you sing. Let us see. आपके फरमाइश अंबिट्टो नीव्यादर श्लोक है.
Today first half, tomorrow next half.
Sure. Like that. ठीक है. Aha.
Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaja मूढमते भज गोविन्दम् भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रङ्करणे नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रङ्करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मूढजहीः धनागमतृष्णां मूढजहीः धनागमतृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपातं यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते यावद्वित्तोपार्जनशक्तः तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः यावद्वित्तोपार्जनशक्तः तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाजीवति जर्जर देहे पश्चाजीवति जर्जर देहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावल् तरुणीसक्तः बालस्तावल् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावल् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावल् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न शक्तः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते मा कुरु धनजन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वं मा कुरु धनजन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वं मायामयमिदम् अखिलं हित्वा मायामयमिदम् अखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सुरमन्दिरतरु मूलनिवासः शय्याभूतलम् अजिनं वासः सुरमन्दिरतरु मूलनिवासः शय्याभूतलम् अजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललवकणिकापीठा भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललवकणिकापीठा सकृदपि येन मुरारी सकृदपि येन मुरारी समर्च क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते पुनरपि जननम् पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपति रूपमजस्रं गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपति रूपमजस्रं नेयं सज्जन संगे चित्तं नेयं सज्जन संगे चित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेश सत्यम् अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेश सत्यम् पुत्रादपि धनभाजां भीतिः पुत्रादपि धनभाजां भीतिः सर्वत्रैष विहिता नीतिः सर्वत्रैष विहिता रीतिः भज गोविन्दम् भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गुरुचरणाम्बुज निर्भरभक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः गुरुचरणाम्बुज निर्भरभक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानस नियमदेवं सेन्द्रियमानस नियमदेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम् द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुकृङ्करणे नहि नहि रक्षति डुकृङ्करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते
Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you all
We
very
had
much.
a visit from a Gandharva today.
Yes.
Dhanyawad, dhanyawad.
Tumba
Thank
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ-
you all so much for patiently listening to me.
What do you mean? Yeah, it was a treat, Rahul. So
Thank you.
Absolutely. It was great. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, the lyrics also, like you said,
Very nice, Rahulji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pragati ji.
that you know why that bhava has come, Rahul, because you understand what you are singing.
Ah.
That's why.
Now I want to tell you something. Every week, one stanza of the Bhagavad Gita you will explain. Because he has understood very well and he is singing so well means it's his
Exactly.
duty to tell us the meaning with the same effect.
Sure, sure. I will be blessed. Thank you all. very much.
Last
Thank you.
15 minutes.
Thank you.
Purnimaji, sorry, I did not ask. I'm asking. Sorry. I just flowed. Please understand. No.
Sure. Yeah. Very beautiful, Rahul. Tumba ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ.
Thank you, Purnimaji.
It was so blissful, actually.
Quite
It was really good.
motivating. Yes, thank you so
Thank you.
much.